So guys, I know it's all year you're waiting for this moment. I know because we said so many times at the end of this year, we are going to tell you finally what's this incredible surprise we are going to show you today. And I can tell you, we worked at this for about 10 months. We said at the very beginning, 2023 is the year of action, but at the end was the year of the massive action. So we are December basically now, and we can finally present you this incredible program. But first of all, let me tell you, what's the problem? Because when there is a problem, there is also a solution, and the program is always the solution for the problem. And the problem experienced by so many employers today is this gap that they have when they try to hire cloud engineers. They arrive there are people they don't know anything about networking, and I'm not surprised because there are people out there that claim that networking is a thing of the past. They say internet is a thing of the past. I mean, we're talking about a cloud engineering position. How can you expect to hire a cloud engineer if they don't know how to do subnetting, or if they don't know how the network works? They don't know anything about OSPF, BGP, MPLS, SD-WAN. How can you hire them? And then you ask them and they say, oh no, but because they told me that CCNA is not needed anymore. But what are you talking about? So you need to be careful about who are you listening to. These people, they try to claim that CCNA is not important anymore is because they are not CCNA and they were unable to get a CCNA, and they understand that CCNA is still the #1 certification in the world, and they try to attract people on their side saying that this is not needed anymore. But it's a lie. I mean, networking is everything if you want to become a cloud engineer. But it's not only networking, there is also another component, and you need to really focus on this today with me. There are two components. One is networking. And so when people say CCNA is not needed, what are you talking about? Of course CCNA is needed. And if you are interested in our CCNA, be ready, because on December 1st, Friday, December 1st, we go live with a new Zero to CCNA class, 24 weeks, and you are going to reinforce all your foundations. If you start from scratch, you are going to learn everything about CCNA, so you build your solid foundations, which is the component #1. However, today, here with you, I'm going to talk to you about the component #2, which is another component that these people ignore. So if you want to become a cloud engineer, before arriving to study AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, which is the last step, not the first, you need to have your foundations right. You need it. You can't skip this. And again, the first, most important component is CCNA. They say, no, you don't need CCNA. Come on. We are disconnected. CCNA is not Cisco. I mean, it's Cisco, but STP is not Cisco. Subnetting is not Cisco. OSPF is not Cisco. But all these things are, of course, into CCNA. They say, no, but it's Cisco proprietary. But OSPF is not Cisco proprietary, and it's in CCNA. Subnetting is not Cisco proprietary, and it's CCNA. STP is not Cisco proprietary, it's CCNA. Guys, you need to know the networking. You can't skip the networking. If out there are people, they tell you, oh, you don't need anymore, but we're talking about internet. What you don't need? It's very important that you clear this idea in your brain. You can't skip. There's no shortcut. CCNA is mandatory, because CCNA, the reason why CCNA is the #1 certification out there in 2023 and will be again the same in 2024 and in 2025 and in 2026 and in 2027 is because you need to know networking. Guys, cloud is just another media, another way to access the network. But the network is networking. You need to know networking. You need to know SPF, BGP. I mean, I shouldn't spend so much time explaining these things, but actually out there are people, they say that, oh no, you don't need any more CCNA, you don't need a computer anymore, you just need a smartphone and life is good. Okay, so don't listen to these things. Having said that, if we are back, what's the second component? Well, the second component is the big foundations of computing. And when you work in a data center, you understand that the major component is Linux. Not because Windows is not needed anymore, like other people say. Not true. Windows is extremely important. But Microsoft is mainly based on policies. You can't customize through the command line like in Linux. You can't. Linux is an open source. That's why 90% of the data centers, or 99% of the data centers, use so heavily Linux. But there is a gap with Linux. What is this gap? It's very simple. Again, Linux engineers, even advanced Linux engineers, are unable to understand networking. So when they arrive to the interconnection between the Linux language and the networking stuff, they're lost, and they need an IP engineer. They need a network engineer to complete a part of the configuration. And here there is the big problem. That's the main reason why the market pay £1,000 or dollars per day experience AWS cloud and Azure engineers or architect. Why? Because they know Linux and they know networking at the same time. So this means that these people are able to understand subnetting, of course. They have CCNA, of course, at least. They know OSPF, of course. They know BGP, of course. And they know Linux. So they can interconnect the two languages. So you'll be shocked about this interconnection. Is bigger than what you believe probably now. But in any case, Linux is the main component to start your cloud career, together with CCNA and networking. These two things together, Linux and CCNA networking. If you don't believe me, just check the market, check the skills required when they ask for a cloud engineer, and you see that at any level they ask Linux and networking. You can read the skills, unless they are very generic. In that case, they don't even mention, because they assume, of course, if you apply for a position as a cloud architect, that you know subnetting and you know Linux. But sometimes they are very specific and they write clearly, you need to know Linux, you need to know networking, you need to know subnetting, and you need to know these protocols. So as you probably understand, what we created here for you this year is new program called Zero to Linux. It's a 52 weeks program. And you see, as usual, we start from scratch and we take you to expert level. When I say to you expert level, I'm talking about Red Hat. So we start from the basics, from scratch, and we use Linux Mint at the very beginning of the program, so that you can get familiar only with the graphical interface and you can install it in your device, or we guide you to the installation through a virtual machine. But after, little by little, we push you towards Red Hat. Why Red Hat? Because it's what 90% or the 99% of the data center use. And again, if you don't believe me, just check Linux positions and you'll see that majority of the openings are for Red Hat. So you need to know Red Hat. But you can't learn Red Hat from scratch, because it's brutal. Unless you have some experience, you can't start from the configuration from day one. That's why our system is so unique and divided per week. We take you from 0 to a Linux user using a user-friendly solution like Linux Mint, and little by little we push you through the process of becoming a Linux expert, Red Hat expert. So when I say a Red Hat expert, I mean the maximum level of certification. And when you are a Red Hat expert, you can even decide to work as a Linux engineer. But personally, if you are here with us, I know that I will meet now Linux engineers because they want to become Red Hat experts, and the same that happened when we started years ago, the CCIE process. I will meet a lot of CCIE engineers, CCIE level engineers that they want the certification. Will be the same with Linux. But now that I'm talking to everybody, what I personally recommend, if you are already here with us, if you're already our student, don't do that. Don't become a specialist only for Linux, because the reason why we are doing this is because the problem, as I mentioned at the beginning, is the interconnection between Linux and networking, which are the two components together, plus other components like Python, SQL, and other things that we'll see later, make you a real cloud architect. Because after the last step, of course, you are going to study AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. But this is the last thing, not the first like they are claiming out there. Out there, they present you the message very easy. They say, oh, but you don't need networking anymore. It's a thing of the past. Forget about Linux. Just start with AWS. But no, doesn't work like that. You need the foundations. Otherwise, you're lost. They never hire you. They say to you, sorry, you don't have experience. You don't have experience means that you don't know how to do subnetting. You don't know anything about networking. You don't have CCNA, and you don't know anything about Linux. So you need the two components. Don't listen to these people. They lie. It's not true. There's no shortcut. You need to know these two beasts deeply: networking and Linux. And now we are focusing on Linux here. The remaining part of the year, we jump into Linux, we start from scratch, and we are going to learn deeply the language. When you are intermediate, you'll see that we present you the interconnection between Linux and networking. That moment is critical. Schedule a Zoom session with me because I can show you some sample about what I'm talking about. When you understand the interconnection between Linux and networking, you have all the possibilities in your life because you bridge that gap all those people out there have. And the gap is the interconnection between Linux and networking. So when you have that, when you become a Linux expert, afterwards we'll show you the remaining steps to become AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud engineer. And of course, we are going to provide you also training specifically for all this. However, as usual, there's no shortcut. You need to do the work. There's no shortcut. You need to do the work. And before arriving there, you need to become a Linux expert. So, took me 10 months to tell you this. Was a pain because I wanted to tell you before. But now you know what's in front of you. You will become a Linux engineer. You'll become a Linux expert. Again, this certification, expert level, Red Hat alone, guarantees to you a fantastic job, fantastic position. You can learn a lot as a Linux engineer, but I personally don't recommend to do that. Because if you are here with us, you should be smart enough to understand that the gap is the interconnection between the two things, between networking and Linux. And you need to bridge that gap. And with this, we guide you through the solution of this problem. So you need to understand how to combine the two things and give into the market what the market wants. That's why at the end of the day, they pay £1,000 or $1,000 per day to a cloud architect. So here this is the first step towards a massive change in your career. You're going to become a cloud architect with us, because the next steps we are going to do during the next months are in this direction. Again, now for this program, we are in production. We haven't finished, but we are in advanced stuff where the fun is, and so we can deliver to you the program right now. And if you already worked with us when we built Zero to CCIE 3-4 years ago, you know how it works. You're going to pay per week, very easy, and you can stop anytime. If you stop, of course, if you stop the program, you don't have access to the program. Don't ask, no, I want to buy only the first part. No, this is not how this system works. You need to complete things. You don't have to do only 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 weeks. No, you want to do the whole thing. You want to become a Red Hat expert. And people say, but it's so difficult. Well, if it's not difficult, they don't pay you $1,000 per day. They don't pay you $1,000 per day, because majority of people out there earn $2,000, $3,000 per month. So if you want to earn $1,000 per day, of course you need to do something a little bit more difficult than what other people do. That's a free information I give you. But the most important thing here is that I don't want to be committed at the very beginning. You can try, but I want to be clear. You can try paying per week, but don't be so smart to say, no, I want just to learn Linux, so I just need 5-6 weeks and then I stop. No. If you do 5-6 weeks and you stop, you quit. What you have to do, you need to arrive at the very end of the program and you need to become a Red Hat expert. That's where the return over the investment is. So I want to be fast in the presentation, so I tell you all the prices. Other people, they say out there, you never say the prices. We always say the prices. But if you listen to these people, they say you can skip CCNA after you don't listen to the prices. Listen to the prices. Very easy to understand. You have different formulas for paying. Only now during the launch. Don't ask me these formulas later on, because they won't be available anymore. We go full price only. So let me tell you again. The price for Zero to Linux 52 weeks program is $97 per week. You can cancel anytime. And after this, we have different solutions. For everybody, if you make your decision within 2023, we keep the product open 2023, you're going to have 50% discount, everyone, so you can get the full Zero to Linux program as $2,500. So $2,500 and you get the full package. Of course, keep in mind that we do this because we are still in the advanced phase of the production. So if you know how it works, we did the same for Zero to CCIE 3 years ago. When we are in production, the product is not finished, because we offer you always fresh products just built, not 2-3 years old things, not completely new and always up to date. But of course, if you purchase with 50% discount, you're going to wait like a few weeks before having the last weeks open. But don't worry, because when you start the program, you already have more than enough to work for 3-4 months. And when you arrive there, you have already the new weeks available. Completely new and completely up to date. And you get 50% discount, so you pay only $2,500, $2,500 instead of $5,000. Having said that, we have our existing students. This time we make a difference. We want to make a difference because, you see, I noticed, and I can tell you, I need to take action also on my side here. What I notice is that the more people stay with us, the more success they get. The more success they get, the more money they get. And when they have more money, I let them pay less. Yes, you heard correctly. Because it's not fair that everyone pays the same. When I see a person that stay with us and make CCNA, CCIE, Zero to Lab, Zero to SD-WAN, is the same person who's asking me now when there is the new program and what's the new program. So first of all, I need to apologize with these people, because I always say I cannot tell you, you need to wait, But it's true, you need to wait because I can't tell everybody in advance what's the new launch. But the second thing is that, and I want to change this from now, I want to give different levels of discounts. Even though, and I understand, is counterintuitive because, of course, if someone is 0 to CCIE, 0 to lab, 0 to SD-WAN student, chances are they earn already a lot of money. So technically should pay more than people they don't have anything with us and they just listen to these people, they say CCNA is a thing of the past and they probably earn $2,000 per month. But it's not true. It's not fair, is something that I have to change, and what I'm going to change is this. I make different offers from this time to encourage people to have everything with us, because when you have everything with us, you earn much more money, because when you are CCIE, I hope you agree with me, at least on this, you earn much more than when you're CCNA, and when you are CCIE and SD-WAN, you earn much more than when you are only CCNA engineer. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to propose you a stronger discount when you have more products. And I want to, just to simplify, otherwise it becomes a mess. I say, okay, if someone has one product, let's say, for example, CCNA, I'm going to change the price. Instead of $2,500, you're going to pay only $2,000 for the full 0 to Linux. But if someone has everything with us, and when I say everything, I mean at least 3 products, let's say, for example, 0 to CCIE, 0 to lab, 0 to SD-WAN, or 0 to CCNA, 0 to CCIE, and 0 to lab, we understand each other, 3 products or more, I make an impossible offer grouping. And I make this because I want all the students inside this, because this is the first step towards a brand new career as a cloud architect. When I say cloud architect, I mean an architect paid £1,000 per day or $1,000 per day, which is something serious. I mean, really serious. And what I want to do is this. You are going to be paid $1,000 per day as a cloud architect. You don't believe me? Just browse. Just browse the internet, check the offers. Just write how much money get for a project, 6-month contract, a cloud architect, and you see your results. So what's the offer for the students who have at least 3 products from us? Well, again, as a cloud architect, you're going to be paid $1,000 per day in 1 day. And this is the first step to become a cloud architect, because you're going to become a Linux expert. And I want to make something crazy today for you. Instead of $5,000, you are going to pay less than what you're going to get in a day as a cloud architect when you finish this process with us. Think about it again for a moment. You are going to get paid more in 1 day than what you are going to pay today for this program that will become yours lifetime, and alone as a value of at least $5,000. And as probably you already understand, because I can't give you for free all this value, if I want you to pay less than 1 day of salary, you're going to pay $999. This is valid only few days. So if you are our student, send me an email, schedule a Zoom session with me, link in the description below now, because I will close this very soon, because you can understand, this is crazy. Is a $4,000 discount, technically $4,001 discount, but I want to make it different this way, because at least you understand that in 1 day, you'll earn more than what you pay for this course, lifetime. This is a life changer. So you want to get this now, and when you are a Linux expert, after we'll guide you through the steps, the next remaining steps, to become cloud architect, and of course we are going to prepare at the end everyone, also all our students, for AWS and Azure and Google Cloud certifications. So this is the first step. I'm excited to welcome you to Zero to Linux. Schedule a Zoom session with me right now.